the portal would open and there's gonna be the rocket. Welcome to another Fortnite video, guys. Today I have a special video for you guys. So as you guys know, tomorrow is gonna be the big finale of the event in Fortnite Season 6. We don't know what it is exactly yet, but Epic Games have been building up to this point with the floating island going around, Loot Lake turning into a floating island, and a lot of stuff. So since tomorrow we should be getting a big update on the event, I decided to do a video where I show you all the phases that we've been through currently and the current phase. And as you can guys see, this is the current phase, this is the game right now on the servers live. As you guys can see, Loot Lake has turned into a floating island that's floating in the sky, and there is a beam above it with a potential portal on top of the world in Fortnite. So I decided that it's a good time to drop this video in which I will explain to you guys all the phases we've been through with Loot Lake, and it's gonna be kind of like the history of Loot Lake turning into a floating island and all this craziness. So make sure to hit the like button if you're excited and watch until the end, because I have some confirmed leaked information what is gonna happen to the lake and the floating island. So make sure to slap the like button, guys, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and enjoy the video. Alright guys, so before we start, we're starting off from Season 5, from this clip from my friend Seto Sorcerer, link is in the description. And as you guys can tell, he managed to capture the moment the cube entered the lake. So if you guys don't know, I'm gonna show you what happened to the lake, but he did this really cool cinematic. Look at this. This is so sick. And as you can guys see, the cube melted into Loot Lake, and that's why Loot Lake was bouncy prior to Season 6. So right before that, I'll show you some footage. Loot Lake was purple, and not only it was purple color, it was actually bouncy. So if you bounce on it, you're gonna bounce and not just jump. Here is the cube just sinking completely into the thing. Loot Lake was just vanilla before that. They hadn't done anything to Loot Lake, and the cube, you just saw him bounce too. The cube just turned the entire lake purple. And this is the same cube you see below the floating island right now. But yeah, as you guys can tell, before that everything was regular, and then the cube literally just sunk into Loot Lake and created this madness. And look at this, guys. Once the cube sunk in completely, the entire lake turned into this bouncy madness where you can just bounce around and not take damage and jump high, and it was really awesome. That was the end of Season 5 with all the events, so let's move on to Season 6. But yeah guys, in the beginning of Season 6 you had the cutscene, and here is some gameplay footage of the lake where it first started. As you guys can see, on the island itself there is not too many purple cubes. Below the lake it kinda seems kinda tame. The cube isn't pulsing, the cube is just static color. We were trying to fly down, we were really excited trying to go to the whirlwind. And as you guys can see, overall at the beginning of Season 6 it was still really cool to see a floating island at Loot Lake. But yeah, there is no purple stuff on it, there is no corruption blocks, nobody could even tell the cube and the floating island was gonna move. But if you look at the minimap, you have the blue color, which means it was actually supposed to be moving. So that is the beginning of Season 6 in Loot Lake. As you guys can see, no purple stuff. The house is completely regular and untouched. There was also nothing in the basement. The basement, as you guys can see, is just the vanilla. And yeah, so that's how Season 6 started. We're gonna go to the next phase when the island actually started moving, and nobody expected it. Around 3 days after Season 6 was released, and as you can guys see, everything still looks the same. We were just hitting the cube, we were so excited about it, it was still so much fun. But yeah, the island hadn't moved yet, even though the color around the island on the minimap was blue, which now means that it's moving. Alright guys, so I'm missing a little bit of footage, but basically the island moved from the original Loot Lake spot slowly throughout 2 days, and after the 2 days it stopped at the first rune. So that was the first stage and the first rune activation. And again, there wasn't too much information. The cube already, now it has the weird stuff. Now it has the lightning, it has the symbols on the cube. As you guys can see, we were flying around. Everyone was focusing on the rune because you could step on the rune, and nobody even noticed the purple cubes in the basement for a while. As you guys can see, we were shooting at the cube as well. And then we noticed the first signs of corruption on the island. We had the cubes in the cave, and it was just in the basement. So we were trying to destroy them, as you guys can see. It didn't work. We were just weirded out. We had no idea what this is about. And that's how it looked in the entire basement. I mean, we kept trying to break them, dude. There wasn't much information at the time. There was no explanation about it. Nobody would have even guessed, even though I do think we guessed that there's gonna be more cubes. And that was probably our first correct prediction. So as you can guys see in this clip, the cube was even angrier. There was a lot of lightning. That was the first time we've seen it like this. We just kept trying to get this golf cart on the island. We thought it was really cool that we actually did it, dude. Look at that. That's some real skill. But yeah, guys, over here I show you the last stage. There is, I think, a little bit more purple cubes in the basement. And that concludes wave 1, the first island movement. So here is what happened next, guys. We have the island and it started moving. Nobody expected it to start moving so soon. Nobody knew what was going on. The island just started moving. So we went in game, we were live streaming it, and we were trying to make sense of it and see where it's gonna go. There was a lot of theories, but me and Deadlocks had the theory that it would kinda go in a circle around the map, and then our theory was that it would go back either to Dusty Devo or go back to Loot Lake. Alright, so check this out, guys. At the second day, after the island was moving, it was approaching the rune next to Greasy Grove, and we were live streaming that, and we started the stream a little bit before where it was supposed to move. As you can guys tell, the purple blocks are still in the basement. They have little sparkly stuff around it though. At first they were just dark purple and nothing was changing, but now they had a little bit of static around it. It was looking a bit more creepy, we were dancing around it, and we didn't really know exactly when the island was gonna stop at rune 2 or what it was gonna do, so we had to actually stream for quite a while until it actually reached the rune. But over here, guys, we rejoined the game, and to our surprise, the island actually activated the second rune on time. So every time it activated a new rune, there would be new cubes. As you guys can see, there is dark purple cubes around the island. These were not there before. And so we're going back to the cave. We see a little bit of weird stuff. I mean, right now the entire cave and the entire island is corrupted, but at first it was just like this. And yeah, every 15 minutes it would add a little bit to the island. There would be a bit more purple cubes, and that was kinda the update. So over here, guys, I have some footage of when the island was leaving Greasy Grove, and we were trying to predict where it's gonna go, and I said Fatal Fields was gonna be the next stop. It was indeed Fatal Fields. So yeah, not much has changed. We only did a video on this, but as you can guys see, after all the updates, you have some purple blocks around in the house that were not there before. And yeah, so the island is moving to rune number 3. So once the island reached Fatal Fields and activated the rune, we got some more new purple stuff on the island. As you guys can see, there is now cubes to the right side. Those were not there. There is cubes on the front. Those were also not here. And also in that point of the game was when they added the creepy sound. So if you go on the replay mode, you would hear creepy sounds. So they definitely had that added. So we thought the island was gonna go to Salty Springs first, but instead it went to Retail Row. And this was one of my favorite times because the island was between Paradise Palms and Retail Row, and as you can see, and it looked really awesome near the desert. So if you go below it, you can guys see that it already lifted up the next rune and was taking power from the rune. And there was even more purple stuff on the island, as you can guys see. It's kind of starting to get everywhere, but they're dark purple. Currently they're glowing really bright, so something is gonna happen really soon. But these are dark purple, and not much going on for them, really. Also, as you can guys tell, the E9 theory still didn't exist because the cubes in the house weren't there yet. So it wasn't spelling anything out, even if you delete the entire house. But after the rune was at Retail Row, we got the Quad Crusher, which is an awesome vehicle. Later on, the island did move to Wailing Woods. And again, guys, it lifted up the rune, it started the event, there was more purple cubes on the island. When I approached the island, they spawned. There is cubes now everywhere. There is still no E9 theory though. Nobody had noticed the E9 theory. And that was that update for that day. The floating island already leached power from the rune. And that was the update for the day. We were kind of flying around. It was a cool location for the island, to be honest. And you have the little bits starting to grow out to be the E9 theory. Alright guys, so once the island left Wailing Woods, it started going towards Dusty. And this is when I had the hot news with the E9 theory. And if you guys are new to the E9 theory, if you destroy the entire house, remove every single block, you can tell that the cubes actually spell out the letter E and the number 9. And E9 is an area on the map near Flush Factory, which is this place. And as you can guys tell, so far nothing has happened to it, but there is a lot of rumors that something will be happening to this E9 area. So after that, guys, we had the island approaching the last rune at Dusty Devo, and we expected something very big to happen once it activated the rune. But strangely enough, once it activated the last rune, nothing really happened. We expected something big, but it all looked just regular. I mean, we had some more purple cubes, but that was the last rune, so surely that wasn't it, right? So a little bit of time passed, guys, and as you can see, the runes themselves started floating out of the ground. And they were like mini floating islands. And the first one that lifted up was the one at Wailing Woods, but I'm showing you the second one that lifted up because it was already flying. It was really crazy, as you can guys see. These mini floating islands were all around the map. You can see them in the distance as well. And my theory, which was the correct one, was that the cube was calling the runes and they would go back to the floating island and connect connect somehow. So it was just about a day or two later, and all the runes were actually combined to the main floating island, and the island was drawing power from the runes, which was crazy. This is when all the crazy stuff started happening, and our theory that the island was becoming more and more powerful was actually correct. So we predicted an explosion, and as soon as the time hit, the servers actually went down. The hype was so big, the servers crashed. But once we managed to log in, guys, the island had already moved and the runes were scattered. And there were two theories at the time. One theory was that the island would go back to the first rune. The other theory was that it was going straight to Loot Lake or Leaky Lake. And that's what happened. This is kinda what we had back then, guys. The floating island already had a lot of cubes and they were glowing bright purple. The cube was also pulsing and the island was moving straight towards Leaky Lake. And this is when we guessed that a portal would open. And as you guys can see, this is the first version of the portal right on top of the map. It's kinda crazy. We were shocked. We were shocked seeing the entire beam going down to the island. You know, that was pretty crazy. Everything looked even angrier. And that's kinda the current state we are in right now. Except that the portal is growing and every day the portal turns bigger and bigger, and tomorrow it's gonna be the big finale of the event. Or at least something big's gonna happen. It might be a rocket. There is rumors that the portal would open and there's gonna be the rocket from the previous seasons. There is other rumors that the portal is actually slowly going down and it's gonna consume the island. We don't know yet, but stay tuned, guys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took a lot of effort to make it. And I'll see you next time for another one. Bye bye.